President Museveni fits the perfect description of a dictator. But do you know why after 40 years, he has never been prosecuted by any international court? Listen, the textbook definition of a dictator is as follows. Number one, they are a leader that concentrates power in their own hands. There is no independence of arms in Uganda. Like I told you guys, the executive influences the parliament, at the same time influences the judiciary. In Uganda, President Museveni is the president, his wife is the minister of education and sports on top of being the first lady, and his son is the head of the military, and so many other family members surrounding him in his presidency. Number two, they are a leader that remove any kind of opposition. In Uganda, we can look at Dr. Kizza Besigye, currently in prison, Robert Sentamu, the current opposition leader, Bobi Wine, has also been arrested several times and still continues to face prosecution. Number three, they are a leader that use security and violence to control the people. I don't need to explain that, because in Uganda, it is the norm for UPDF soldiers, who are the people's police, army actually, to be walking around with guns, policing the people on a daily basis. Number four, they are the leaders that actually remain in power beyond what is democratically allowed. Uganda. In 2005, there was a bill to remove the term limits so President Museveni can run again. In 2015, as he was reaching the cap of age limit, they were like, no. The parliament proposed another bill, passed it into law, removing the age limit. President Museveni fits the perfect description of a dictator who rules without any meaningful accountability. But after 40 years since January of 1986, why has he never faced any international prosecution? Listen. One, the International Criminal Court sounds very fancy, but in reality, they don't have any real power. They don't have armies, and so they cannot arrest individuals. Instead, they rely on their member countries to invite them in case of war crimes and crimes against humanity. For example, earlier, President Museveni actually invited the ICC to prosecute Kony, who was the leader of the Lord's Resistance Army. Secondly, they also depend on the UN Security Council recommendation. For example, in 2007, after the post-election violence in Kenya, they issued warrants for President Ruto, who was the deputy of then President Uhuru Kenyatta. You're following. Secondly, President Museveni has made himself strategically useful. The United States uses the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, to fight in their AMISOM group in Somalia against the Al-Shabaab. And this has been going on for God knows how long. Another thing is that the UK continues to criticize President Museveni's rule, but they still continue to send in aid and financial support, which facilitates his rule and dictatorship. Thirdly, several countries have made investments in Uganda, the European Union, China. These guys have constructed dams, roads, hospitals, and so many other infrastructure. And he provides them security of their investments by promoting stability in the country. So they wouldn't want to get involved politically. Last but not least, Uganda is strategically located between Congo and Rwanda, and we all know about the conflicts going on, and President Museveni helps to neutralize the violence that would have happened. Last but not least, the African Union has often come in solidarity when it comes to warrants that have been issued for African heads of state. They don't like it. They say it is a target on their sovereignty, and for that reason, that is why in 2009, when a warrant was issued for President Omar Bashir of Sudan, he kept roaming around the African continent, even ruling his country for 10 years, because nobody was willing to arrest him. And finally, a lot of people say and criticize that as much as Ugandans have suffered, people get killed in the Rwenzururu and others prosecuted because of their politics, it is nothing big enough, significant enough to attract international intervention. And that is why the word dictator might sound politically exciting, but it doesn't hold any legal waters.